one to avenge them. Me! Me! I'm going to defeat you!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Zarkator and welcome to a brand new Rhino Prime video. This is going to be a little bit different than my last build video because we've actually gotten something new for Rhino. So as you can see, here's my old build in my last Rhino Prime video, the best Warframe. Now this build, it still absolutely works. The only problem with it is that there's a lot of setup, right? You gotta find enough enemies to suck up into your larva. You gotta dash through them. You gotta call an arc gun and then cast Iron Skin. And you have to do that every time you want to recast Iron Skin. We build a lot of strength, and you know, we try to make one casting of Iron Skin last for a whole mission. But especially in higher levels, that's not always going to happen. You know, it's difficult even to get Iron Skin values over like 200,000, and like 200,000 is pretty good. But once, if you're going for like an endurance kind of build, eventually that will scale out and stop being very effective. Obviously, don't do endurance survival and shit like that. It's a waste of your time. What do you get from it? A bunch of materials that you could get just by, you know, doing 5-minute intervals instead of staying in a steel path survival for 3 hours. Point is, here's a much simpler way to get similar results with Rhino. So instead of larva over Iron Stomp, or Rhino Stomp, we have parasitic armor over Rhino Charge. So we're not even using, where'd it go? We're not using Ironclad Charge. That's weird that that's not there. We're using instead just Iron Shrapnel, and we're building for a lot of shields. I have Augur Secrets, Primed Vigor, Redirection, and Brief Respite, all working together to keep my shields pretty healthy. Arcane Energize, obviously, because Rhino's energy economy is a little tight. I've added Flow in lieu of, we could do this, right? We have Augur Accord here, which is a lot more shields. We could do that, but what happens is when we have Augur Accord, with this much efficiency, we have 45% efficiency. Rhino Stomp is actually going to cost 155 energy. And I don't know if you know this, but Rhino's max energy is 150. So if we were to put in Augur Accord instead of Flow, we can't use Rhino Stomp. If you're okay with that, absolutely, you can put in Augur Accord instead of Flow, and then you'd be able to have a free Arcane slot. So over here we have Arcane Tanker. If you want to go with Augur Accord, I'd recommend something like Arcane Aegis to keep you alive, potentially, in between the casting of your two. But I've gone with Arcane Tanker because without Augur Accord, if we were to just press 1 and then 2, our total Iron Skin is going to come out to 47.2k. And that's like a lot, right, for how easy this is to just cast over and over. And keep in mind, while Parasitic Armor is still active, I can just recast the 2 if it were to run out in that duration. I still don't have any shields. I have some overshields from the Augur mods and from Brief Respite, but the armor I get from Parasitic Armor stays until the duration runs out. So even if my Iron Skin can't last the 18 seconds that Parasitic Armor lasts, I can recast Iron Skin, you know, at least like a couple of times depending on how many energy orbs I can pick up. Anyway, if you're okay with not having Rhino Stomp, go for Augur Accord, but with Rhino Stomp at 5 seconds, not too long, not too much duration on this build, but that is still pretty useful, considering instead we have Arcane Tanker. So if there's a lot of enemies around you and you happen to have full energy, what you can do is Rhino Stomp them, pick up an energy orb maybe, cast 1, call down an arc gun, and then cast 2 like before, taking a page out of the Ironclad Rhino build. That gets us up to 57.3k, which is more than you would get by including Augur Accord and disabling Rhino Stomp. So the only thing we're missing out on is the potential 3% chance to become invincible if we get hit outside of Iron Skin with Arcane Aegis. So in my opinion, this is the best way to do it. We have we have a viable energy economy. and we have pretty much the best of both worlds with Parasitic Armor and Arcane Tanker build. So for now, I think this might just be the best way to build Rhino. Our Roar is even stronger than the Ironclad build. It's 169%. It's only 21 seconds instead of like 36 seconds, but 21 seconds is pretty good, right? The only thing that holds this build back in the slightest is just a little bit of energy economy. It's a little bit difficult, but you know, if you have Xeneric equipped or Arcane Energize, or you know, just any support frame like Wisp or you know, Trinity, anything like that, shouldn't be too bad. You know, especially in a coordinated team. But yeah, I'm just hanging out in the simulacrum here. Let's like just fight some enemies, right? Unpause them, no invincibility or anything. Let's just do it. I'm gonna press 1, then 6. 6 is what I have my arc gun equipped to, by the way. And then 2. Now we have 57k. Uh-oh, there's a lot of enemies here. I'm gonna stomp because I haven't disabled that by having a bad energy economy. And then use whatever, like a Brahma, a Glaive Prime. I have a Monada Rudra from my last video right here. It's very effective. And you don't actually, keep in mind, if you are a little bit slow on the drop and you get hit outside of Iron Skin before you can get enough energy to cast it, you're not going to be missing out. The way Parasitic Armor works is it'll empty out your shields completely and give you that armor, but the armor you get is not how many shields you spent, it's just how many max shields you have modded, like in the mod screen. So like I have like 1440 max shields, so that's the amount of armor I'm getting out of Parasitic Armor. Doesn't matter if I've taken damage, and like doesn't matter if my shields are completely out, you know, I can still cast it and get the full effect. This build is very, very versatile. The only difference is, you know, Parasitic Armor instead of Larva, we get Rhino Stomp back. So all in all, this really is even better than my old build. So I'd recommend, you know, going for this. Keep in mind, you know, if you're not of the type to put 7 Forma into a Rhino Prime, including like an Umbra Forma and an Aura Forma for, you know, my 4 different builds here, go ahead, do your best. You know, you can skip all your secrets, you can have like less ranks on all your mods here. It's not gonna be that big a deal, you know, until you get up to the kind of super end game level where you would have these mods maxed out anyway. So this really is the best Warframe in the game still. You know, and he just keeps getting better as the game theory and the meta progresses. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this fashion. It's only a little bit different than it was in the last video. I've added the Targus Greaves because, you know, it's always the most beautiful thing. It's always designed for Rhino, even though it was like Nyx's Prime Armor. Got the Imuki shoulder plates and the Sovereign Sindana. I just think it looks a little bit more like a, you know, like a King's Shield or something like that, like Rhino's the King's Aegis. Ironic because I actually took Arcane Aegis out of the version of this build. But thank you guys for watching. That's just my little follow-up video on a little sequel to my Rhino Prime video. And I will see you guys in the next video, whatever that happens to be. Thanks for watching. See you later. See you out on the Star Chart, Tenno.